Hello there and welcome to Homegirl Talk. I am your host, Mar Yvette, of course. So tonight we have a very special guest. I'm very excited to welcome Jen Proctor. She is a bad mamma jamma, can I just say. So today we're going to talk about, we're asking the question, does having beauty, brains, and money mean you have it all? You ever see someone who just seems to have it going on and you think, wow, I wish my life were like that? And if you said you've never asked yourself that question, I know you're lying. We've all done it, and try as we may not to judge people based on the way they look or what they seem to have, you know, we do it anyway. And that's what I first thought when I met Jen Proctor. She is the CEO and founder of Cultivated Entertainment. It's a super successful talent agency that works with everyone from A-list actors to athletes, so we'll get more about that. But what I didn't know is that beneath her beautiful exterior was this story that reminded me that we all have been through hardships, and the story that she has is among one of the hardest. So let's bring in Jen. And we're just going to keep it real, and we're going to have fun. And, you know, we talk about serious things here, but we have fun, too. So let me go ahead and bring in Jen. Hello. There she is.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm all right. Happy to be
Happy
talking
Friday.
to you. Yes, TGIF. So it's been a long week,
Yeah,
a busy week, I'm sure, for you.
it has been.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
so let's first talk a little bit about you. I want to brag a bit. You are the CEO, the founder of Cultivated Entertainment. So you do work with celebrities and even non-celebrities, right? But you're in entertainment. Tell us a little bit about your company and what it is exactly that you do.
Yeah. So it's one of those companies that I've really kind of created our own lane, so to speak.
Hmm.
But if my business were a wheel, the center of that wheel is talent. And like you said, that could be A-list celebrities, it could be athletes, it could be musicians, it could be experts, doctors, you know, somebody that constitutes as talent that has something to offer. And our clients are, you know, television shows, production companies, networks, brands, events, and we're sort of the middleman, and we work with our clients to help align them with the right talent.
I know that you were working, because I follow you on Instagram. Are you working with Aisha Tyler and her new show, Unapologetic, on
Yeah,
AMC,
that's
right?
it. Yeah, so at that show, actually, the finale was on Monday, and it was one of the most incredible shows I've had the opportunity to be a part of, because they were having discussions on that show that really don't exist anywhere on television. You know, conversations about body image and gender discrimination and, you know, racial discrimination and just so many of the things that are prevalent in our culture, you know, both political and pop culture at the moment. And we had the most incredible guests who came on and just spoke, you know, vulnerably and authentically about their experience in their life. And it was amazing. I hope there's a zillion more episodes. So, you know, stay tuned. But you can get it, you know, you can find it online and stuff.
Yeah, I have seen it. I have that marked. That's one of the shows I need to watch next. But didn't you have the actress from Dietland?
Yeah, so basically, AMC launched a new scripted show a few months ago called Dietland, which was created by Marty Noxon, who's this incredible badass female, you know, creator. And the show it's centered on this woman who's, you know, a heavier woman, and just goes through all of the things that she struggles with in her life, and how she's identified as, you know, a fat woman, and how that's sort of stopped her from living the life of her dreams. And beyond that, there's, you know, there's a lot of underlying themes and parts of the plot of that show that deal with, you know, the way that men treat women, you know, especially in the Hollywood industry, you know,
Right.
photographers who take advantage of these models, and, you know, a lot of things that are happening in the Hollywood industry over the last year or so. And so they use that show and the really intense themes and topics that the show deals with as a springboard for the conversation on Aisha's show. So it
Oh.
aired right after that. So it was kind of a it was a lead into the show, and it was a way to sort of use what happened in Dietland to have these conversations.
Right. You know, looking at you, of course, you know, my thought is like, okay, so we're talking about a woman. Girl, can we just talk about my hair for a second, though?
Oh, you look
Like,
great. What
what's
are you
happening with
talking
my
about?
bangs? No, but you know, you're obviously beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed. You're in shape. When, you know, looking at you, it's like, have you ever had to struggle with that? I'm sure
Yes.
you maybe get the reverse, where some of us are like, oh, she's too short, she's too fat, she's too this, or she's too that. Maybe you look too perfect, and
No.
you get the reverse, which is like, you know, she just thinks she's all that because she looks the way she does.
No, I have struggled with, you know, my own body image and my weight my entire life. I was never
Really?
the skinny girl. I was never the skinny girl in the class. I mean, to this day, I'm not confident wearing a bikini at the beach. And I work very hard. You
Join
know,
the
I eat.
club.
I know. I mean, are any of us? I guess
Yeah.
you know, but you know, I eat really well and I work out every day. But it
Mhm.
takes a lot of work for me. And you know, I've been 20 pounds heavier than I am now, and I've been 10 pounds lighter than I am now.
Mhm.
And I've always sort of fluctuated. And you know, it's one of those things that I think up until recently, I sort of just was able to say, you know what, fuck it, I am beautiful. And I think that there's something that we're all so hard on ourselves, and we compare ourselves to other women that we see in our real life, or you know, on social media or in the
Yes.
movies, and
Magazines.
yeah, and yeah, some a little light just went off in my head, and I thought, you know what, I am beautiful, and I'm just gonna rock it, and because of that, I think I just have this newfound confidence, and I think it shows. You know, I really do. I think
Yeah.
if you
It does.
find that, it's yeah.
And at that point, it really doesn't. It sounds cliche, but it really doesn't matter what you look like, because you can see people who may not be conventionally. You know, you're not going to look at them and say, "Oh my gosh, they're going to make your head turn," but their spirit comes through, and they're just so
Yeah.
beautiful, and you're drawn to them. And that's what real beauty is when you
Yeah.
can like magnetize people. So we're gonna get serious here too, and you and I have not have had like, you know, any deep discussions yet, one on
No.
one, and so I appreciate you coming on homegirltalk.com, to share your story, because a lot of people have, you know, interviewed you and you've been written about, you know, you're all over the web about your successful business and how you're an entrepreneur, and you know, you're just out there. I know you're opening up an office in New York soon, so you have
Yeah.
a lot of great things going on, but you know, that in itself can be a little, I don't want to say discouraging, but it can be a little intimidating, and make other people feel like, damn, I'm really not doing enough with my life. Or, you know, again, it's kind of like what I mentioned at the beginning, which is you see people who just seem to really have it going on, and it kind of it gives you this illusion that like, oh, their life is perfect. When I lose 10 pounds or 150 pounds, I'm going
Sure.
to be happy. My life is going to be fulfilling. Or when I get that job, or when I'm famous and I'm on TV every day, that's me, you know, or
Hmm.
whatever it might be. Or when I finally find a man or have kids, whatever it is, there's always that thing that we're chasing. And so for me, seeing you, it's like, oh wow, you have a successful business, so financially you're secure. You're physically beautiful, conventionally beautiful. People, you know, nobody would say that you're unattractive. And you're, you know, you have a sweet personality, so you're actually a very nice person. And so it might be easy, and you're smart, so it might be easy to say she doesn't know how to relate to people who are really struggling. And
Yeah.
that brings us to the point of some of your struggles, and a really traumatic childhood experience that you had, that I haven't had, that, you know, not many people have had. And it's really deep. And so, you know, it's been a couple of months since Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade were all over the news
Yeah.
after having committed suicide.
Hmm.
And you actually, your
Lived it.
mom
Hmm.
committed suicide when you were 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to hear about what that was like, how you've adjusted to that reality, how you have processed that, and here you are now. That to me is like, wow, you're even more incredible than I would have imagined.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, I think childhood was it was not easy, because even when my mom was alive, she really struggled with mental disease that it never really went properly diagnosed, and I think that's one of the things that is tricky with mental disease. Even today, I don't think it's quite fully understood.
No.
And so almost when she was alive, it was hard. She turned to alcohol and drugs and was physically abusive. And, I never knew what mom I was going to get. One day she was this high, happy dancing life of the party. And the next day she was in this deep, dark hole and, didn't want to come out of the house and didn't want to speak to anyone. And so from a very young, and my father is an entrepreneur and, ran his own business. So, he, not to his fault, was working a lot, to support a wife and 3 kids. And so I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother and sister. And very early on, I was sort of thrusted into this mother type role, and would have to figure out what are we going to do for dinner because mom was passed out, or she'd forget to pick us up from school. How can I figure out how to get us home?
Were you like 10 or 11, 12 years old at this point?
I mean, I remember back, probably my first memories are maybe around 4 or 5. I mean, it was my whole life. And I think, now that she's passed, I've had conversations with her mother, and I think it was something that, even they saw, in her youth when she was in high school perhaps, but didn't realize it at the time, and only now are sort of coming to understand that. She had tried to commit suicide other times.
And you knew about this when you were young? Like you knew what that was? Like mommy wasn't happy and she wanted to leave?
I understood it that she was an alcoholic. That's what I thought, and I think without fully understanding what an alcoholic was, I, for whatever reason, had the mental capacity and intelligence to understand that, something was not right with her. And, it really forced me to step up and become this powerhouse, for my brother and my sister and for myself in my own life. And so when I was 13, she finally did it. She was finally successful. She used a gun this time, which, obviously there's not much going back from that. And the worst part is that I was actually with her. The 911 operator made me stay with her.
No. Oh my gosh,
because
Jen.
It was
God, it was make me cry. What? How?
Yeah, it was it was crazy, and I mean, even honestly, it seems like an out of body experience. I think that I probably haven't fully processed that exact moment. But after the fact, I remember we were driving in my dad's car. He was at dinner with my family, and I had to call him. The police made me call him, and he said in the car, my dad never let us use anything with my mom as an excuse. We were never going to be the people that made excuses because of what happened. And this happened on a Saturday night, and on Monday we were back at school. And I give a lot of credit. Yeah. And I give a lot of credit to my dad because he really instilled that there's no excuses. And I carry that to this day, and I think I have a very positive, it is. And I think that I have a very, yes, I'm tough and I work my ass off, but at the same time, I'm also very chill and low key because I really don't sweat the small stuff because I've been through so much,
That's exactly right.
And it also allows me, I think, to have deeper connections with people because I understand that everybody goes through stuff, even if your parents getting divorced or, if you have a sibling that's, an addict or, I mean, there's so many things. If you struggle with eating disorder, everybody has something, a story or a situation. And I've really made that a part of my life and my message that, we've all gone through stuff and we should use that stuff and not feel sorry for ourselves, but use it to fuel us and use it to inspire us and use it to create the things that we want to create in the life that we want to create.
Oh my gosh.
So
One of my thoughts was, you know, your mom killed herself on a Saturday night, and then you and your siblings are back in school on Monday and your dad's back at work. Was it like brushing it under the rug and you didn't have the mechanism to actually deal with it? Like, do you feel like you were able to confront it? And also, you were so young.
yeah.
It's kind of like, how do you really process that? If it happened when you're an adult, it's a little bit different. You know, I just lost my dad 3 months ago to alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm still dealing with that. And I want to make sure that I'm grieving properly, whatever that is. But I'm just like, I kind of feel like I feel some of your pain, not everything, of course.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry enough the way my dad left. But for you as a teenager, I'm just wondering how you can actually process that. Like, I'm a grown woman. You were just a young girl.
You know, I think it was one of those things that it made me feel special. And instead of feeling sorry for myself, I really, really, really tried to use it to continue to make myself feel special. And I knew that I had a unique experience, even at 13. You know, yes, I was so young, but I knew that I had an experience that, you know, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody. And I think that's really what everything that I did it to the very best of my ability. And I worked harder than anybody and did more than anybody. And, you know, and I also never wanted to be the person that, you know, they said like, you know, her mom committed suicide. That's okay.
You don't want to be defined by that. You don't want to be referred to. Is that your doggy?
Yeah, it's my dog.
Oh, you
Come
can
here.
bring him or her on the air, girl. We love dogs.
Yeah. I've got 2 dogs.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I see the tail in the mirror, in the reflection.
Yeah.
Oh my
This is
goodness.
my little one. Yeah, this is the little one. But so I have Sydney and Paris, my little international plan.
Oh my God, Sydney is my niece's name. Yeah. That is hysterical. Is Sydney a boy or a girl?
A girl. They're both
okay,
girls.
My niece Sydney, yeah. Sydney and Paris. Oh my gosh, they are adorbs.
Yeah, thank you.
The little woofer said, "Give me my screen time. I need my close up."
Yeah, exactly. Mom, who are you talking to over there? Yeah, you know, I think as I've gotten older, you know, there's certain moments that become really hard, you know, graduations or, you know, one day I hope that I get married, and, you know, I know that day will be very hard. There's these little parts of your life, these little chapters of your life that, you know, are significant. And that's really when it hits me the hardest.
Yes.
You know, I was very fortunate that I have, you know, an amazing grandmother and some, you know, wonderful aunts and, you know, obviously an amazing dad and a lot of friends. And I think that surrounding yourself with people is the best thing that you can do.
Absolutely. Who are some of the women? I mean, gosh, you're so inspiring. Just the few minutes that we've been talking. Who are some of the women? You know, Homegirl Talk is all about celebrating our stories, our successes, our struggles to hopefully make us realize that we're not alone. So who are some of the women who have inspired you? You mentioned some of the women, you know, in your personal life. Are there other women as well who have inspired you professionally?
Yeah, well, so I was a singer my whole life.
Really?
And so
I didn't know this about you, girl.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I still got it. I don't use it as much as I probably should. But yeah, it was my entire life. So music was very much a therapy for me. I would write music. I mean, write song after song after song after song. And I have diaries, you know, full of song lyrics. So I think, you know, some of my idols were, you know, like Stevie Nicks,
Yes.
you know, just women like that, you know, you don't fully know their true, you know, their whole story, but just women like that just have this aura about them are the women that I always, you know, wanted to be like. There's actually There's actually a photo of Stevie Nicks, right? Oh, wait, sorry. I'm like, how do we do this? There. There she is.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
That's fabulous. Forever with like the gypsy, the flowing dress, and the wing sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I'm such a gypsy. I'm such a gypsy at heart. I'm totally a gypsy.
So was that like your part of your, as we're getting older, you have sort of different incarnations, what you planned to be when you were in high school, college, 20s, 30s is different oftentimes than what your life ends up becoming. So is that was that your dream? Did you want to be a singer? Did you want to be, your own version of Stevie Nicks?
If you talk to anybody that knew me, probably college and under, I mean, I was a singer. I was going to be a singer. I mean, I pursued it very seriously. Even after college, I moved to New York and I sang on TV shows. I sang a few jingles. I had a band. We performed all over the city. I mean, it's, yeah.
I need you to sing something now.
Oh God, I don't know. I'll sing something for you, like, maybe when we're not live.
Oh my gosh. So when did it change for you? This is part of our whole theme is, at what point do you have it all? Or at what point do you say, got to give up that dream. Let me pursue something else. Or did it kind of just fall in your lap?
No,
What was that like?
It was actually really hard. I pursued music really seriously, signed a couple deals and got really screwed over by the industry. And because of that, I felt like there were no good people in the industry. I felt like everybody was just out for themselves. And something in that sort of switched with me. And I thought, I'm a good person and I want to be a good person on the other side of this. And that was really the start of like my career in the entertainment industry. And I always knew that I wanted to work in talent because, I myself, I guess, was a talent. And I went to USC Annenberg for broadcast journalism. I thought I would be doing like what you're doing. I thought I was going to be, a news reporter or, hosting, some kind of something or other.
And you do host a podcast, just FYI, so people know.
Yes, that I do host a podcast, yes.
Cultivated?
Called Cultivated Conversations.
Cultivated Conversations. See, girl, we're all talking.
And similar to what you do, it's about me just, connecting with women and having them share their story in a vulnerable way. And I really believe that we all have something to learn from everybody. Everybody's got a story and everyone has lessons, and I think we don't give relationships enough time. I don't think we go deep enough into our relationships because we're so fast paced and texting and calling and moving so quickly. And if you slow down and actually talk to people and get to know their experience and their conversation, like you will learn something.
Right. You're absolutely correct. Do you think that you would still be doing this, like if it weren't, financially viable for you, like at a certain point, because I have girlfriends too who are kind of, and I've done this as well, where you're questioning like, well, I love doing this, but I'm not making money at it yet, or I'm not making enough money to support myself and sustain, for X amount of years. So it's kind of like that weird area where I feel like that's why so many of us are doing so many different things. One, because it's out of necessity, and two, also we're just, we kind of have like this license to just be as creative as we want now. Everybody's a content maker. Everybody's, the host of this show or that podcast or this webcast or whatever, which is great, but it also adds to like all the noise, and it's like, oh, is it just oversaturated? There's no room for me. That's kind of like what it feels like sometimes. I don't know if every industry is like that, but certainly when it comes to, entertainment and
it is saturated. Yeah, I mean, well, being on the other side of it, I'm the one who looks at people like you and can say, all right, yeah, let's get her to host this show or let's get her to do that thing. And I mean, even in the last 5 years, it's really tremendous how saturated it has become. But I still think that not everybody has the talent that they think they have. I think it's amazing. Go create your content, go host your podcast, go do what makes you happy. But, the ones that really are talented are the ones that are going to get those get those shows or those big deals or, whatever it is, because they can do it. It's hard. I mean, it's a lot harder than people think it is.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of planning that goes behind, even for 10 minutes of airtime. I remember just doing morning TV segments. I mean, that was a week of planning for 3 minutes on the air, so
Yeah.
it is a lot. So, where are you now as far as like, and you're not defined by just that one traumatic moment in your life, but it's something that you're never going to get over, this idea.
Yeah.
I now know personally of grieving when you lose someone, whether it's a parent or a spouse or, God forbid, a child. You adjust, you accept, and you adapt. You don't get over it. You don't just move on in that traditional sense, like
No.
you just throw it and just move. It's always there with you. Like, I think about my dad every day. I never understood when people said about a parent who had passed, like, I think about them every day. It's like, that's intense. Like, don't you like move? You're like staying stuck in the past. That's not the way it is.
No, I don't. No. And that person will always be a part of you. And I think it's important to remember them and think of them every day and, think of them, I get emotional because the last year and a half or 2 years have really been incredible. And I look around at what I've achieved and I'm like, God, I wish I could just have a glass of wine with my mom and have her tell me, I'm so proud of you, Jen. I would kill to just hear those words, and I never will, but, I will never lose sight of that or her. And I could never shove her or that experience under the rug because you're right. It's exactly what makes me me. And I would not be here without that experience.
Do you have, is like faith an important part of your life? Do you, or you have like spiritual practice? What helps keep you grounded?
Yeah, well, so I went to school, a private Episcopalian school, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then Catholic all girls high school. Mm-hmm. So I got a lot of church from, in my youth to the point where when I was in college, I'm like, I am never going to church again. But, I really do think it was a great foundation, for understanding cultures and civilizations and, appreciation for people's beliefs. I'm extremely spiritual. I'm not religious, but I'm extremely spiritual. I believe in, I believe in the power of prayer, and I believe in intention. And I really, I say, like, people throw the phrase around like, oh, your vibes. But mm-hmm. I truly do believe that. I think that we all, we put something out there that we want the rest of the world to receive. And I think we should try to have try to have better vibes. If we all had better vibes, the world would be a better place.
That's exactly right. And we're all connected. So hello, you're putting out bad negative energy and you're being resentful and bitter. Well, that's spreading around.
It trickles around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
would you say, tell in your own words, what is sort of the message and the purpose of what you do? Do you feel like you're living your purpose?
I feel like I'm living my purpose because every day I work with, maybe not hundreds, but a lot of people. And I believe that what I went through, I have this incredible gift to connect and understand people in a way that maybe others can't. Mm-hmm. I see beneath the surface in a way. And again, this is just a realization that's been more recently. And because of that, I get to have fun with what I do. I get to work with amazing people, and I get to help these women that work with me and for me create lives for themselves too. And so every morning I wake up and I'm excited, and I'm not just saying that. I didn't have that before. I've had incredible jobs. I worked at agencies and studios, and I've always had a great job, but I never woke up every morning excited. Even when I get those stupid emails that, all hell broke loose, still, it invigorates me and it makes me excited. And I know that I can get shit done. And that makes me feel like $1 million.
It's part of the energy. We're losing
I can
you.
still hear you, but it looks like I froze. That's a really good face.
You're like, well, you know what? Maybe this is where we, say that we're going to call it an evening. We've been talking for about half an hour. Oh no, that's so sad. I had one more question for you. So let's just see if we can fix this.
Like what happened?
What happened? Let's see. I want to know what your advice is for women out there who are, you know, they want some direction. They you know, are looking for how to make their dreams come true, whether it's, you know, to be a nurse or to, you know, create their own website or do PR, whatever it might be. Is there just one piece of advice, regardless of what industry a woman is in, just from your own insights and experience, that you would have for them?
I think the number one thing is trust your gut. I think that we all have an intuition inside of us, and I think that if you're doing something and it feels right, keep doing it. If you're doing something and you have a little bit of an inclination, like maybe this isn't right, then you know what? It probably isn't. And I think make every decision from your gut and your intuition, and like you will succeed, and you will be happy, and you will be inspired.
Oh my God, those are some words of wisdom. Jen, thank you so much for chatting with me and Homegirl Talk.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I would love
I'm sorry
to
that I froze up down there.
That's okay. It couldn't handle all your beauty, girl. It said, okay, after 25 minutes, we're done.
Oh, God.
I would put you back up on the screen, but it's just a frozen picture, and I'm not going to do that to you. So.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
But anyhow, so we'll put a page up on homegirltalk.com with our interview, with the video, and then I'll make sure that we share it there. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. And congratulations on all your success. And I know that you've helped some people out there with your honesty and just your courage and just your resilience and your perseverance, that you can go through some major shiz and you can get through it, and it's not an excuse not to make your own dreams and make your own life happy. Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Jen. All right, darling. All right. Kisses to you. Okay. Bye. Bye.